This week for Project 4, we're going to draw another ground plan, only it's not going to be a copy project the way last week's project was. I'm going to give you the information for the set, and you're going to create the ground plan on your own. This ground plan is very similar to the one we created last week, but it is different in some ways. So you're going to want to download the PDF from WebCourses. That's 2 pages, and the first page looks like this. This is the set that you're going to be drawing the ground plan for. This is in the same theater as last week's set. This is the main stage theater at the Orlando Repertory Theater. And this is the set. It's a basic box set. And I will tell you that some of the information on this PDF you're not going to need for the ground plan. You're going to need it eventually for the elevations. But so if you're looking at information and going, why do I need to know that for the ground plan? Some of it you don't need to know, but some of it you do. So I'm going to walk you through what the set looks like, and then we'll get you started on the ground plan, and then you'll finish it yourself. So like I said, this is a basic box set. It's symmetrical across the center line, so everything on stage right is identical to everything on stage left. This is a door that swings off stage, and we'll look at page 2 in a minute and clarify that. This is an archway. It's just an opening. It doesn't have a door, but it is a doorway that goes into a hall. There are 2 steps up, or 1 step up onto a platform that's in a little alcove, and this entire wall is basically a very large version of an arch. So just bear that in mind. Upstage on the platform, there's a center French door, and then there's a window on either side of the door. All 4 of these panels are identical. 2 of them are windows, and 2 of them are doors. And then the set repeats itself on stage left, so it's exactly the same on stage left as it is on stage right. So that's page 1 of the PDF. Page 2 of the PDF gives us a slightly different view, so you can see, and we're looking at this in more of a bird's eye view. So here is here's the downstage wall. This is the wall with the door that opens towards offstage. So the hinges are on this side, so the door swings towards offstage. You can see the archway here. And you can see the rest of the information. Here's what the hallway looks like from the back. It looks like this on this side, but it's the same on the other side. So the information you'll need for the ground plan is to know that this wall A, is 2 feet 6 wide. This would be wall B. It's 4 feet wide. Wall C is a 12-foot wide wall at a 45-degree angle. It's 45 degrees from this wall, which would be wall D. We have to do a little bit of information gathering to figure out how wide this wall is. So we know that this is a 4 by 12 platform, so it's 4 feet deep and it's 12 feet across. So we know that this opening is 12 feet across. And then if we go back to the information we have here, we discover that these walls are 3 feet wide. So that's 3 feet plus 12 feet plus 3 feet is 18 feet total, right? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So from this point to this point is 18 feet. That's the width of the wall. So sometimes when you're putting these things together, you kind of have to do a little detective work to figure out where, or the sizes of things. The other things that you'll need to know are that the width of these doors and windows, they're all 2 feet 6. And it's actually easier to tell from this plan. The windows and doors are all 2 feet 6 wide, so the width of the frame itself is 2 feet 6, and then there's a 3-inch gap between the window and the door. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. So this distance, there's 3 inches between the window and the door, and then of course the 2 doors touch each other. There's no distance between them, or they wouldn't make very good doors. And then there's a 3-inch gap, and then there's the window. The center line of the doors is the center line of the theater, or the set itself. You don't particularly need to know anything about, well, I guess you do need to know about the mullions. The mullions are that's this piece, the pieces that divide the doors and windows into different panes, and you need to know the width of this, because if you remember, the symbol for the window shows the mullions from top view. If you go back to project 2 and look at the symbols for doors and windows and arches, you'll start to see how this all fits together, hopefully. So in a ground plan view, this is just going to be in this case an out swinging door. It swings from on stage to off stage. This is just an arch. This is another arch. This is another door. And this entire wall, if you look at it, you realize it's just a great big arch. So this opening, even though it's really big, would be the same symbol as this opening. It's just wider. So hopefully that makes sense. Back to page 2 here. So this, as I said before, this platform is 4 by 12. There's another 4 by 12 platform upstage of the windows, so that when the actors go through the door, they don't fall off. There's got to be more platform there. And then this platform is 3 feet deep and 12 feet wide at the back, and then it's cut off at a 30-degree angle on either side. And then this step is 1 foot wide and wraps around the platform. There is a little bit of a lip that's a 1-inch nosing on here. I'm not particularly concerned that you deal with that. Any of you who are interested in knowing how to deal with that, let me know and I'll show you. Otherwise, you can just sort of ignore it. Just assume that it's just a straight step that's 1 foot wide. So I'm going to switch to Vectorworks for a second. So this is, no, please don't. This is the same set that we just looked at as a 3D model of it. I'm gonna sort of, I've made the proscenium transparent so you can see through it, so you can see what's going on. But you can see this is the same stage floor that we've been working with. So just to sort of go around the set, this is the back of the door. This is the back of the arch here. This is the hallway. Here is a platform. It looks like I really, is that 3 feet? Yeah, they're both 4 feet wide. Okay, so there's the platform that goes the whole width of the back wall, and then there's a step up on either side so the actors can get up. This is a backdrop that's just hanging on the farthest upstage line set in the space. If we go back around, you'll see the set just repeats itself. Whoops, on the other side. So this is basically what we're looking at. To go a little more in depth, if we remember, we talked about the ground plan being the set cut off about 4 feet above the ground. So I'm going to do a little drafting magic here. I'm going to start slicing the set. If you see what's going on, I'm just removing parts of the set. I'm going to take it down to about 4 feet off the ground. And hopefully you can start to see this is how the ground plan develops. So everything that is red here is what you're going to see in the ground plan. I'm going to do that again, make sure that makes sense. So we're just cutting away the top part of the set there down to about 4 feet. And then what we have left is what's going to generate our ground plan. So if we look at it, there's a quick look there. But so you'll see we've got, and these would be gray, just like they were in last week's project in your plan. So we've got a wall here. We have a wall here with a door, the symbol for a door in it. Look at project 2 for the symbol for the door. Of course, there's no dashed line in this 3D model, but there should be a dashed line there. Here's our arch. There should be a dashed line showing the top of the arch. The 2 other walls. The platforms from above look just like the platforms and stairs in last week's drawing. They're just shaped differently. Last week it was just a rectangle and steps. This is just a differently shaped platform. Then we have this wall that's got a window here, and then 2 doors, and then a window. So if you just look for the symbols for door and window, realizing though that these doors are actually windows, you replace the part of the door symbol that's actually the door with a window, which is how you show a French door like this. And then this side of the set is symmetrical. So I'm going to go back around and sort of get the backdrop is just a solid line. It's just a fabric, so it's just a solid thick line that we're cutting through, and back around, and then back. So you can sort of see it actually looks a little bit like a spider or an alien or something we decided last year. But so that's hopefully helpful in understanding exactly how the ground plan is derived. And then I'm going to get out of the clip cube, and now we're back to the set. So how do I start this? As with everything, we find something that we know and we put it where we know where it is, and then we start building from there. So I'm going to go back to my PDF and look at this and see that the information I have information about one point. This point right here, is 16 feet upstage of the plaster line. And we know that it's on the center line, so we know where this point is. So the front edge of this platform, the center of the front edge of this platform is 16 feet upstage of the plaster line. So bearing that in mind, I'm going to go back to Vectorworks. I'm going to open a new file. I'm going to do a page setup the same way we did last week, because we're starting with the same same theater drawing, 18 by 24. Okay, good. All right. I'm going to create 2 layers the same way we did last week, so that we have one design layer. I'm going to edit that and rename it Theater Architecture. Okay. And put it in 1/4 inch scale. 1/4 inch scale, okay. And then I'm going to create a new layer, and we're going to call it Scenery. You also could just open up last week's project and resave it and delete the scenery that's there, and do this that way, since we're basically repeating exactly what we did last time. Then I'm going to download the ground plan of the Orlando Rep, which is the same file from last time. You may already have it. If not, it's in this week's project. So we're going to grab this and copy it, and then make sure here we're in the theater architecture layer and paste it. All right, so now I have my theater. So now everything else I draw, I'm going to be in the scenery layer. And you notice my theater just sort of disappeared a little bit. That's because I have this set to gray snap others. What I really want it set to is show snap others, so that it doesn't gray it out. So in my scenery layer, so now I'm ready to draw some scenery. So back to the PDF. So we know we have a 4-foot by 12-foot platform, and we know the front edge of it, the center of the front edge, is on the center line, 16 feet upstage of the plaster line. So I'm going to draw first of all, I should put myself in 0.25, because everything I'm going to be drawing is going to be 0.25. I'm going to create a platform that's 12 feet wide, 4 feet deep, and I'm going to insert it by the center of its front edge. Okay, and I'm going to put it right there on the plaster line, and then I'm going to move that upstage 16 feet. Modify, move 16 feet. All right, so that's this platform. Then I know that this platform is 3 by 12 with a 30-degree angle cut off. So I'm just going to duplicate this one and change it in Object Info from 4 feet deep to 3 feet deep, 36, and put it right there. And then I'm going to chop off I'm at minus 120 degrees, or if you're going the other direction, 60 degrees. which makes this the 30 degrees. It's not this. It's not this angle, which is says 30 degrees. But we're going 30 degrees in the other direction. So, and I'm holding down Shift to create these standard angles. So here, so there, and whoops, here. I select both of those, hold down Shift, modify clip surface, select all of those things and delete. And then I can select both of these and add them together, modify add surface to create this entire platform. Then I need to draw these steps, and they're 1 foot wide. So this seems like an excellent time to use the double line polygon tool. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to set it to 12 inches because they're 12 inches wide. And then I'm going to use this mode. This is the mode where I draw the top line and the program draws the bottom line. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to select the preferences, and I'm going to tell it to create polylines rather than just lines. Click OK, and then I'm going to do that. Double click to end, and you'll notice that this, because of the way this tool works, I need to do a little work here. If I draw a line across here, I need to make sure that these stairs come all the way to the edge of where this wall is going to be. So I'm going to draw this line like that. Then I'm going to select the step that I just drew and use the reshape tool in the first mode. This is the move polygon handles mode, and I'm going to move this corner, but I'm going to hold down Shift while I do it to constrain it to go along the same angle. You may see that faint dotted line there that pops up. I'll do it again over here. If I don't hold down Shift, I can just move this, and it will, I can kind of guess at where it's going to be. But if I do hold down Shift, then you'll see the line, and you'll see that it says 30 degrees there. So it's letting me, and then when I get to where I want to go, I click, and then I let go of Shift, and that is that step. For those of you who are interested in drawing the nosing on the step, I can use the double line polygon tool again, this time set to 1 inch. Whoops, 1 inch. And I'm going to change modes. Instead of drawing the top line and it drawing the bottom line, I'm going to change modes to I'm drawing the bottom line and it's drawing the top line. And I'll explain why in a minute. So then I can draw here. Whoops. Let's try that again. Here, here, here. Double click there. Set that to no fill and a dashed line. And it's got to be the right dashed line. It should be ISO 2. Where are you? There you go. And it should be a thin 0.10 line. And then I have to do the same trick that I did before with the reshape tool, only I'm doing it sort of in the other direction now. But reshape, holding down Shift, dragging there to make that. This is somewhat optional. This indicates the lip of the stairs, or where the stairs overhang the face of the stairs slightly. And like I said, it's optional to draw that or not. If you want to draw it, that's how you do it. And you would do the same one along the front edge of the platform. There is no lip around the sides and the back of the platform because there's a wall there, but it could go around the front edge of the platform. This seems like a really good time to save. Alright, so now I've created my platform and my step. Remember that when we're when we're done, there's another platform behind this that's 4 feet deep, and it's got a step on either end. I'm not going to draw that yet. I'm gonna leave that for you. But so what can we do now? So now it seems like a good time to draw this wall. So if you remember, we decided it was 12 plus 3, 15 plus 3 is 18 feet across, and we're going to assume that all of these walls are standard Hollywood flats, and we're going to make them 3 inches deep. So I need a wall that is 18 feet wide and 3 inches deep, and I'm going to insert it by its the center of the front of it, and it is going to go right at the intersection of the center line and the back of the stairs here. So if I hover over this where it says endpoint, you'll see that it will draw this dashed red line, and then when I get to the center line, so it will let me know that I'm lined up at that intersection if I click there. So there is that wall. It should be filled in solid. If you remember from project 2, when we draw walls, it's filled in solid like that. And then I need to indicate that it's an arch. So if you remember from project 2, the symbol for arch is just the wall with a hole in it with a dashed line drawn where the hole is. So, and this hole goes from the edge of the platform to the edge of the platform. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to draw that rectangle, and I'm going to select it and the wall and do modify clips. Why didn't I didn't have them select? There we go, both selected. Modify clip surface. Seriously, did I do it again? Select both. Okay. Modify clip surface. So now that's been cut away, and then I can change it to being not solid and being a dashed line, and the right dashed line, ISO 2, and it should be a thin line 0.10. Alright, so I'm going to let you guys carry on from here, because the whole point of this is that you should be able to take a sketch or drawing of a set and draw the ground plan from it. So we've got this platform, the stairs, and this wall. So I would suggest the next thing you want to do is probably draw this wall, and then this wall, and then that wall. And then once you've done that, you can copy them and you can duplicate them and flip them horizontally and put them on the other side. So what you should have when you're finished is all the same stuff that we had last week. So you should have labels A, B, C, D on all of your walls. You should have heights on your platform and your stairs. You should have a couple of dimensions to indicate where the set goes on the ground plan. You should label the backdrop, and then of course you should have a title block and a border viewported out for your final project. So your project for this week should look essentially like last week's project, except that it's a different set, and you're drawing the rest of it yourself. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call.